My name is Hannah, and this is my beauty budget. Hey y'all, so I feel like a total idiot because I thought there was another week before Christmas, up until pretty much yesterday. Joe and I were at work and I was sewing, and he from his office loudly said,
So the clothes that you're working on now are the ones that are going to go up for sale after Christmas.
and I was like,
What? How can that be true? That would mean that Christmas is pretty much in less than a week.
and he was like,
Yeah, you're right. That doesn't seem like it could be true.
and then we both sat down and looked at the calendar together, and together we clutched our pearls because Christmas is in less than a week, which means I'm leaving. Like, I'm leaving town and going home in less than a week. And my first thought was, goodness gracious, I have so many videos to film before I leave, and I have so much sewing to do before I leave because I have to prepare the clothes that are going to go up for sale in advance before I leave town. And my second thought was, and I have to film my small brand holiday gift guide because it's pretty much too late to order even some of the things. Some of the things it's not too late, and that's part of why I'm following through with it. And I'm excited to talk even about the brands that I don't know if they'll be able to ship in time for Christmas because it's just good information all around, and I'm going to be giving thorough reviews and stuff like that. But some of the things are good last minute ideas. I'm going to put those first in case you're here for those. But what was I thinking, or what was I not thinking? I mean, I was not thinking I need to make sure that I keep an eye on the calendar so that this goes up in time for people to actually buy gifts. But that is the way of the world, or the way of my world right now. It's absolutely appropriate for how the end of my year is going. And I'm excited that I'm actually doing it. I'm really excited about this video. I've been so excited about it. And I think part of why I've put it off is that I've really wanted to do these brands and the products I've gotten to try from them absolute justice. And when I'm in that situation, I tend to procrastinate because I always feel like I can't do them justice, and I feel like I need to plan and gird my loins. But the time is nigh, it's happening, I'm doing it now. Small brand gift guide for the holidays or for any time in the future. Let's go ahead and get into the meat of the video. So I have 3 ideas for gifts, all of which support small brands and all of which are still theoretically acquirable by Christmas. I'm going to put those first for the sake of those of you who do celebrate Christmas and who actually are kind of like, oh no, I need to have a creative gift for somebody or a good gift for somebody on the 25th and I haven't gotten anything yet and I would like to support small brands and I don't have any ideas. Like, if that's your gig and if you're here for that, then those are going to be the first things that I talk about. And then I have the other brands that I want to talk about, and some of them might ship in time for a Christmas gift. Some of them might not, but I still feel like they're worth including in this video. I still really want to talk about them. But first, I wanted to say that you don't need to go overboard buying gifts for Christmas. I am guilty of this. Gift giving is my love language, and I get so excited when the holidays roll around or anybody's birthday, any occasion, any excuse to lavish my family and my loved ones with gifts. I will take that. And it has its positives and its negatives. There are positive aspects to that. Often I'm able to give things to people that they wouldn't have bought for themselves, or they couldn't have afforded for themselves, or things that they actually kind of needed or that significantly improved their lives, but that it just wasn't in their nature to acquire for one reason or another. And I kind of take pride in really figuring out what those things are for people that I care about and then being the one to get them for them. And that's the way in which I'm like proud of my love language of gift giving. But sometimes I can get really obsessive, and because it is my love language, it feels like if I don't do it right or I don't do it enough, then I'm not showing my love enough. So I've learned to kind of check myself when it comes to that manifestation of gift giving as my love language, and to remember that it means a lot to me and it feels really urgent to me, but that's not necessarily true of everyone. And sometimes it's actually better for me to find out what will be the most meaningful to my friends and family, whether it's quality time, words of affirmation. I'll try to leave a link to the love languages quiz down below in case you're interested in it and you've never looked into it. Before I kind of reconsidered my relationship with stuff and my relationship with shopping, I used to really put a lot of stake in what gifts mean, and that would often cause me to overspend during the holiday season, not just on myself but on stuff for other people. I don't do that anymore. I'm much more judicious now, and I'm much more in tune with what people people actually will find useful and will actually be glad to receive, whether or not people actually will be glad to receive anything. And I just wanted to kind of put that out there to clear the air about that before I jump into this, because I am really excited. I get really excited about presents. So I'm just going to be like, oh my God, it would be so amazing if you could get this for someone, if you get this for someone. And I know that's going to happen when I'm filming this video because it's just my nature. It's just how I am. I just love it. So I wanted to temper that a little bit at the beginning. And then also to say that it's always an option to forego the exchange of gifts, if that is something that would work for you, or if you feel like you're part of a family wherein everyone kind of drags their feet to buy gifts. If you know that you and your siblings, for example, are all last minute shoppers and all of you have not bought gifts for each other yet and you're all dreading it, and you know that all of you are going to be like dragging yourselves to an overstuffed mall on the 23rd or the 24th and then desperately trying to find something for each other that all of you are kind of not really going to love. If that's you, don't be afraid to just talk it out with your family members and just be like, hey, how would you feel about just not doing it this year? And make room for them to be like, no, I actually really do want to do it. And that is fine. Like, I'm not saying you should push it on them. I just feel like it's good to have it be a spectrum and to be fluid about it. And I want to encourage you to break outside of the mold of thinking of like what the holidays have to be like in terms of gift giving, because they don't always have to be the way they've always been. It doesn't always have to be this like fantasy of stuff for everyone. So that's out of the way. And I do feel like some of the things that I've chosen are non-traditional in a way, not what you would expect. And in that way, even by presenting them, I'm sort of helping to like loosen those knots around that box and like potentially give people room to breathe a little bit. So the first brand on my list is a company called Stay Classy Meats that I have grown to deeply respect. And the more I've read about them, the more I've learned about them, the more excited I've become. I have also tried their product and I loved it. The first gift idea is basically meat, a box of amazing meat. And hear me out. But first, before you hear me out, if you're a vegetarian, just skip this part of the video. I will put a timestamp at the top of the description box and I'll put it on the screen too. If this isn't for you and if you're gonna sit there like getting all in amongst yourself watching me talk about the fact that this is a really great source for high quality meat, it is to me one of the most ethical ways to eat meat that I've ever found. So that's part of why I'm excited to talk about it. But I don't want you to have to suffer through it if this is truly not your thing. If you haven't skipped ahead with the timestamp, however, let me tell you about Stay Classy Meats. They did send me a box of meat to try. That's why I know about them, and that's why I can fully endorse their product, because I've eaten it. Joe and I ate our way through an entire box of Stay Classy Meats, and it was so good. It was so good. And I cook a lot of animal protein. And I cook almost everything we eat. So we have this household of 2 people, 2.5 if you count Sadie, and we eat almost exclusively food that I have cooked. So it's like this huge project that I undertake every week, which is planning all of our weekly meals, figuring out exactly what I'm going to cook, and making sure that all of those meals will create enough leftovers to cover all of the rest of the meals of the week. And what I usually do is to cook 3 really big meals a week, and then we eat the leftovers of all of those meals sprinkled throughout the week. I've gotten a lot of requests for a video about how I do that, like more details about how I do that, and I would like to do that in the new year. So I'm hoping that that will be forthcoming. There is almost always an animal protein at the core of the big meal that I cook, the 3 big meals. So every week I pick 3 animal proteins and we go and we buy 3, like a big piece of fish, a big piece of pork, and a big piece of chicken, for example, or like a bunch of chicken, like a big piece of chicken, a bunch of chicken, for example, and then I'll cook those 3 things, and then each meal will be accompanied by a bunch of vegetables of some kind, and then starches of some kind. I don't always eat the starches, but Joe always needs a lot of starch. So that's a very quick summary of how we do it. When we had the Stay Classy Meat box, for at least a month, we either purchased no animal protein at the store when we went on our weekly grocery run, meaning that we would just pick animal proteins from the freezer that had come in the box, and then I would build the meals around those. Or sometimes I would pick 1 or 2 from the Stay Classy Meats box, and then I would buy the other animal proteins. So I do think that our box might have ended up lasting us a little bit longer than it would if I had exclusively been cooking with meat from the box. And it was just because of trying to keep it balanced. So I didn't want to be cooking like bison all week long, although bison was the best thing. I mean, like the bison for this box, I can't even talk to you about it. It was like eating, it was like what you imagined manna from the gods, When you hear that phrase and you imagine what it would taste like, that's what the bison from the Stay Classy Meats box tasted like. And I've eaten bison. I mean, like, we cook bison on a regular basis. I often will get ground bison at the store instead of ground beef because beef doesn't really sit that well with Joe most of the time. And this bison was like on another level. I can't even. So I could talk about the yumminess of bison, of single origin bison, which is what it is. I could talk about its yumminess all day. What I really want to do is talk to you about how Stay Classy Meats functions and why it's different from other meat, and why I even wanted to put it in this video, because it is really different. It made it into this video because I think it would be a good gift idea, and here's why. I'm actually going to talk about that first, and then I'll circle back to talking about the company and why I really love what they're doing. Say you're like a mom of like grown kids, or kids who are just starting to live on their own, or maybe you have like a young kid who just got married and is just starting a home, or just had a baby or something like that. I feel like at the holidays, a lot of times there's this desire to give gifts that are practical, and there are certain ways that you can do that that will actually alleviate financial strain. And giving food, it can be kind of a hard thing to do. Like, it can be kind of tricky to give food because it's hard to, like, I don't know, give like a gift certificate just to the grocery store. I mean, you can do that. I've received gift certificates to grocery stores before as gifts, and they're very helpful. But this is like an elevated way of doing that, and a way that supports this amazing small brand. And I feel like it could be the kind of gift that would be exciting because it's different and the meat is so high quality, and so it's this special experience being able to have it, being able to cook it. But it also is incredibly useful because it means that the meat's already there in your freezer for at least a month, depending on which box you get. For a long time, there's all of this meat in your freezer. And especially for like a really busy kid who just moved into their first apartment by themselves, or like a new parents or something like that, that can make a huge difference. It can make the difference between like getting takeout night after night and managing to cook your own food night after night. And I feel like giving a little assist to that it's just like a smart way to give a gift. Also, I received it as a gift. I received it for free from the company because of my YouTube channel. Obviously, they were hoping that I would have a good enough experience with Stay Classy Meats that I would talk about them on my channel. Luckily for everyone, especially me, because I didn't have to buy meat for a month, I did have an amazing experience with them. So I'm glad to talk about them on my channel. I do think it makes a really good gift. But my point in saying that is that I actually firsthand know what it was like to have a box of meat, amazing meat, just kind of drop in my lap, and I know the effect that it had on my month, and it was amazing. And I saw the ripple effect that it had on like our finances and the meals that we ate, and the ease of cooking, the way that it affected my day-to-day life, my planning of meals, and it was just amazing. So I feel like the gift that I received from this brand would be a really good gift for many, many people. So of all the meat in the world, why am I so obsessed with Stay Classy Meats? It's because they are on a mission to keep the meat, the animals that you're eating when you eat, especially bison and steaks or beef, they're obsessed with keeping the meat in Montana, where it was born, where it was raised, eating grass, eating like what it was meant to eat, free range, living its best life, keeping those animals there and having them processed there, meaning that they go straight from living that best life to being butchered and being turned into meat, and then they have the meat shipped from there. So most of what happens, I've learned this from talking to the Stay Classy Meats guy on the phone. Full disclosure, we talked for like an hour and a half because I'm so into it. I'm so into like what the company's doing. Most of what happens to these amazing cattle that are raised in Montana by ranchers, many of them are like several generations ranchers. So it's what they do, it's the family land. They're raising these really, really healthy, free range, grass-fed animals and taking really good care of them. And then because there aren't enough facilities or not enough infrastructure to process them in Montana, they sell them. And they sell them to huge feedlots, and they get grain finished, which means these amazing animals, which theoretically could make such healthy food, like the most healthy, kind of cleanest meat you can imagine, they get taken and they get put into those feedlots. And for the last several months of their lives, they get pumped with hormones, antibiotics, so that they don't all get sick. And then they get fed a bunch of grain to fatten them up really quickly at the end of their lives. And it basically just sullies the meat that you're then eating that could have been so amazing. So they're hyper focused. This team, I think it's like 2 guys. It's like a meat startup. They're hyper focused on helping Montana put the infrastructure in place to process the cattle themselves and to sell it sort of as this like exquisite product of Montana straight from the state. Not just helping make meat better around the world, but also like supporting the ranchers. They're trying to make it so that the ranchers who raise this cattle get well paid without having to like sell their cattle off to big feedlots. I am not an expert in this, obviously. I think you can probably tell from the way that I'm talking. I am going to link them down below. If you're interested in this, I encourage you to click through and read their website because it's very comprehensive. There's a lot more information than what I can communicate in a YouTube video, and I'm also aware that I've been talking for a really long time about a box of meat. So I think that the reason that when I decided to put this on my list for the gift guide, I was envisioning it being like a parent to child gift, is that if you buy a box outright, it's expensive to me for a holiday gift. And I know that all families are kind of different, but I think that the main box is like $200. The core box. Yeah, the core, I just checked it. The core box is $200. That was the box that we got sent. So that was the box that I estimate could have lasted us a month. And depending on who you are and what your gig is, that might be too much money to spend even on a beloved family member. That just might not be what you guys do in your family. So the one potential downfall of this as a gift is that it might be pricey. The huge boon though, for those of us who are last minute out there, is that you could order the box and then give the fact that you ordered the box as the gift, and then the box doesn't have to be there on Christmas because it's not like you're going to start cooking the meat right away. And it also would be a bit awkward. It's like a cooler box, it's like a freezer box. So it's not like you necessarily want to wrap that and put it under the tree. This is a thing that makes eminent sense as a yet to arrive gift. It's like, I got you all of your meat for the next month and it's going to be the best meat you've ever eaten in your life, and it's going to get here on Friday, or it's going to get here at the beginning of the year, like in January 1st, and then you're set for all of January or something. It just makes sense. It doesn't feel like you waited until the last minute just because the meat actually isn't there in your hands on Christmas. Okay, moving on. Welcome back, vegetarians. I just talked for so long about meat that I feel like you might have missed half the video, but that's okay. My second idea for a gift, if it needs to be something that you can kind of like get theoretically or get quickly, but that's kind of unique and individual, kind of robust, is the idea of graphic design services. And this isn't for everyone. Obviously, there's no gift that works for everyone. But this, I think part of why it made it onto my list is that it is a gift that was given to me by a subscriber. So my subscriber, Hallie Breen, is a graphic designer. She is amazing. She did all the artwork for my channel. So my title card, where you see me with the mirror and the lipstick and the pen, and Sadie sitting on the stack of books and the string lights in the background, that amazing thing that you see every time you watch my channel, Hallie designed that for me and drew it and then sent it to me in the exact file format that I needed to put it in my videos and to put it in my banner and all of the stuff. It was such an amazing non-physical gift. It definitely made me feel like a little bit more professional, more like I had something to present here on this platform. I mean, it was just like, it's the very definition of the gift that keeps on giving. And obviously I had a need for graphic design services that I didn't spot. I wasn't out there looking, but Hallie spotted it because it's her work. And so she reached out to me and I was like, oh my gosh, you're right. I should have been looking for this all along. I should have been finding you. So it doesn't have to be someone who's making YouTube videos, but there might be someone in your life who doesn't know she needs a graphic designer. And it could be because she has a website or a blog, or it could be just that she needs someone to help her design business cards or anything. Like if somebody has a project, an Etsy shop, just a brand of any kind on any platform, even if it's just Instagram or something, then this might be a gift that they would really, really love. And I haven't talked to Hallie, again, very last minute over here. What I should have done is to email her and say, hey, are you taking new clients? Are you interested in being contacted for like a gift card situation? So I'm sorry, Hallie, if anybody takes me up on this and they contact you, they might be like, Hannah said that you might be somebody who I could get a gift card from. And I don't know if Hallie does that. She is the one that I unhesitatingly recommend. Like she's the one that I have experience with. And I imagine that it might be something that you could gift, like, because here's the thing, I don't think it would be a thing that you would want to do in advance, like work with her to design imagery for someone and then give them the imagery, because that would take too long. Well, first of all, that would take too long. There's not enough time to do that before Christmas. But the thing that was amazing about working with Hallie was that she was able to hear my vision and what I wanted and contribute her own ideas. She wasn't afraid to suggest things and to share her own ideas, but she wasn't precious about her own ideas, and she was 100% willing to incorporate all of the suggestions and feedback that I gave. She was just a dream to work with, which I feel like is as important when it comes to something like graphic design services, as important, if not more important, than the actual talent, which she also has in spades. This is just to say, you would want to give the experience of working with the person as a gift. You wouldn't want to like do it first and then give the imagery. And that's part of why I recommend Hallie, is because she's so good at that. And I feel like if there's someone in your life who needs those services, what you want is to put them together and then potentially to have like put down a down payment or to have paid Hallie in advance to work for a certain number of hours with this person or to work on one specific project with this person. And she can let you know like what would be an appropriate rate, or you could say how much you can afford and she could let you know like how much the other person would have to subsidize to pay for the project that they need or something. I feel like if you happen to have the right person in your life, this could be the most spectacular gift in history, and it's something that you can potentially kind of get in place over the next couple of days. Okay, and the third gift idea that I have is a little bit less, I don't know, revolutionary because it involves ordering from Amazon. But it still is something that supports small brands, and I feel like it's one that might fit the bill for like a really, really wide range of people. I feel like all of us who are publicly, or at least to our friends and family, connoisseurs of beauty, all of us are frequently approached by our family members and friends who aren't into beauty, but they just want a little bit of a better skincare routine. Like, who else out there has had everyone they know being like, oh, you're really into skincare, or you're really into beauty? What should I use? Like, what should I use? What should my skincare be? But then they're like, but I don't want it to take a long time, and I only want it to be one thing, and I don't want it to be expensive, and I don't want it to be weird, and I don't want to go to Sephora. Like, then they have like all these caveats, and it's just like basically what they want is to keep doing nothing, but then they want it to be something. I have so many people like that in my life. A lot of them are my family members, most of whom have no time for beauty. And a lot of people who have no time for beauty, they just want someone else to do it for them. They just want someone else to be like, hey, here are the products that I think you should use. Use this one in the morning, use this one in the evening, and your skin will change. And also, they're not expensive, so when you use them up, you can repurchase them yourself and you won't be breaking the bank. I just feel like there's someone in all of our lives who wants that from us, and maybe we haven't quite been able to get it together to do it, and maybe holidays are a good time. And I feel like I have the most killer duo to recommend that fits the bill for that. If you know someone who just doesn't use skincare, or maybe they only use sunscreen, and you're overwhelmed because you're like, how do I bring this person on board for like a fully realized skincare routine when it would be so much more complicated than what they're currently doing? And you just know that even if you suggest it to them and you buy them the products or you help them buy the products, they're just never going to be you. They're never going to be someone who sits there and like goes through all of the steps of the routine or remembers the steps or remembers to do anything. I feel like a good choice for that person is to boil it down to one product in the morning and one product at night, separate from sunscreen. So you give this gift that I'm about to suggest to this person, and then you say you're responsible for your own sunscreen. You should be wearing sunscreen during the day. And then you say, and you should be cleaning your face with some kind of soap at night. But the two killer products, the two heavy hitters, the two that are going to make your friend or family member run back to you 3 weeks after Christmas and be like, you have changed me. You have changed me. A vitamin C and a retinol. If you can get a vitamin C, a good one, and a retinol, a good one, into the hands and onto the faces of your anti-beauty friends and family and get them to use it, and I feel like picking the right product is key to getting them to use it. I feel like you're gonna have literally one Christmas. You will just be the ruler, the liege of Christmas, or whatever holiday, whatever gift-giving holiday you're celebrating, if you're celebrating one. Maybe you'll be the ruler or the liege of all the people's birthdays next year, if you take this suggestion. So how do you do this effectively without breaking the bank? Here are my two brands, my two small brands that I want to suggest to you Timeless skincare for the vitamin C. We all know that I'm devoted to this product. These are two products that I use. This is the other thing. Like, these are my babies. I've been using them. I don't need to go on about Timeless because I've talked about Timeless at length before, and you guys know that their vitamin C serum is the one that I use. So I will leave it linked down below, and what I will do is I will leave the Amazon link, which isn't ordinarily what I would do. Ordinarily, I would say buy it directly from the Timeless website, because that way Timeless doesn't have to give a cut of the sale to Amazon for having been the broker for the sale. But I do know that Timeless has their own Amazon storefront. So you're buying actually from the brand. You're not buying from like a sketchy third-party retailer when you buy from the Timeless storefront through Amazon. But I believe that by buying it through Amazon, you can ensure that it's shipped really quickly, and you can definitely get it by the day. I believe that that's true. So that's why I decided to go this route, to be like, well, you can support this small brand by buying this product and then getting it in the hands of your friends and family, and then maybe they'll buy it in the future. You can give them the link to the Timeless website, but you could lean on Amazon a little bit if you're in like a super, super pinch and you need it by the 25th. And the other brand that fits the same bill, meaning they have their own storefront on Amazon, and when you buy from them, you're buying through Amazon, so you can get that quick shipping, but you're buying directly from the brand, is this brand that I discovered recently through this product. It's a retinol cream. The brand is called Body Mary, and it is a small, independently owned boutique skincare brand, woman founded, woman owned. And this retinol moisturizer is my current retinoid, like my current retinol product. Simber gave it to me. I believe she received it in PR. I started using it and my socks were blown off. It is so elegant. It's a cream too, so it's like the kind of thing that can work for someone who only uses one thing at night, because it's providing some kind of an inclusive layer, but it's not super thick. It's the exact perfect happy medium. And the retinol in it is doing good things for my skin. I've noticed a difference in the texture of my skin. I started incorporating it every other night. My skin has been accustomed to retinol on and off since I was a teenager, so I wasn't too worried about it. It did feel a tiny bit drying at the beginning. Like, it's the real deal. It really, really did get in amongst my skin. But then I quickly upped it to almost every night. I'm probably up at like 4 or 5 times a week. When I don't use it, it's just because I've layered a bunch of other stuff on and I'm just kind of like, I can skip it for one night. It's not because it irritates my skin at all, but it really is keeping my skin smooth. I've been so impressed by it. And it's like less than $20. I think when I first looked it up, it was like $22. And I think when I just looked it up for this video, it was like $17 or something. So you could totally get the Timeless Vitamin C Serum from Timeless's Amazon storefront, the Body Mary Retinol Moisturizer from the Body Mary Amazon storefront, get them shipped, have them in time for Christmas, and that would make a beautiful, just like totally basic but very effective, actives focused skincare routine. And for somebody in your family or in your friend group who doesn't really use skincare and who has never put vitamin C, like real potent vitamin C or retinol, on his or her face, they'll be shook and you'll be their hero. So those are my 3 creative last minute gift ideas. And now I'm going to move on to talking about 4 brands. I'm smiling cheekily because one of them is my own brand. 4 brands that I had on this list to talk about, but now I realize they might not be able to ship in time for Christmas. Actually, we might be able to ship in time for Christmas. It's sort of not a real thing that I have my own brand on here. I just felt like I couldn't make a video specifically about small brands without just mentioning Poema, because I get so many questions about whether the clothes that I make are appropriate for people who don't dance tango, and I've never addressed it on camera because I'm kind of shy about it. I do make my living selling these lovingly handmade pieces of clothing that were designed for Argentine tango. They grew out, the business grew out of my love of tango and the fact that I couldn't find basically elegant, exciting, textural evening wear made out of luxury fabrics like silk and bamboo and rayon, really, really nice, beautiful, like beefy rayon knits, and then like exciting things like sequins. I couldn't find really special clothes made out of those kinds of fabrics that were comfortable enough to move in and therefore would work for dance. So when I first started getting into tango 10 years ago, I started getting into making my own clothes, making my own clothing designs, and then the business grew from there. But because I'm making this video, because I'm talking about small brands, I wanted to address once and for all on camera the fact that you absolutely can wear Poema clothing outside of the tango context. A lot of my tango dancers, a lot of my customers do that. They buy the clothes for tango, but then they also wear them. If they have events, they wear them to dinner. Some of them just wear them out and about, and I wear them out and about. I wear my own clothes especially like the skirts and even some of the tops. So you don't have to be a tango dancer to buy Poema. They're expensive though. I mean, the clothes are expensive. So if I were not the person making the clothes, but if I were just a Poema customer, for me to buy a Poema skirt or a dress, it would be my one fewer nicer things thing. Like it would be my one big purchase for the month. So that's the kind of stuff I'm making. And it makes sense because that's the kind of stuff I like. Like that's the kind of stuff I like buying. I really love truly exquisite and well-conceived things, especially when it comes to fashion. So of course that's the direction that I went in when I started making my own clothing. I just wanted to give that caveat because not everyone has the $200 a month to spend on beautiful things that I've allotted for myself. Some people have it but aren't comfortable with it. And there are definitely a lot of people who aren't spending that much on gifts for friends and family. And of course, in order to buy Poema as a gift for a friend or family member, you'd have to be picking someone who would like to wear sort of like dance wear inspired glamorous clothing on a daily basis. Is a little bit hard to buy clothes for other people. So I'm not necessarily suggesting that. It's not like the best idea on my list or something. It just felt natural to incorporate like a little mention for my own business into this video. And if you're someone who's out there and you've always wondered, then yeah, it's not like wearing golf shoes to the office or something. Like it's not like the clothes are so niche or so specific to tango that you'll feel weird or feel like you're dressed in something costumey if you wear Poema out of a tango context. Many have done it successfully and many will continue to do it. Let's move on to talking about House of Gloy. I am so into House of Gloy right now. Did you hear my voice crack when I was talking about it? I think that's because I feel like I'm a little bit sicky, but I think it's just because I had a flu shot. You know when you get a flu shot and then you feel like you have the flu for like 2 days? I feel like that's what's happening to me. I am so on board with House of Gloy that I spent some of my December budget on an order from them. And I already talked about this, I think in my empties video. I really, really am a fangirl. And actually, the two products that I have here are not necessarily the two products that I would recommend if you were to buy a group of House of Glory products as a gift basket for someone, because they're both perfumes. So I have the perfume oil and the perfume spray. The perfume oil in Troika is one of the things that I bought myself. It's $15 for this little vial, which will last forever because it's so powerful. And it's effective. Like the scent is strong enough. Troika is kind of like a sweet almond. It's like a sweet almond scent pretty much. I mean, it has some added coconut, but it's really interesting. So I wanted to tell you in this video about the difference between the two. To me, this one sprays more the lasting scent, the dry down, which I actually really, really like because I fell in love with Troika when I used the bath bomb in this scent. It's supposed to be sweet almond, milk, coconut, and then a scent that they call clean white. And the clean white, I think, is like the base note, and that is what I love. It's that clean white with these wafts of coconut and almond kind of over it, and milkiness and a little bit of sweet, almost maybe vanilla. It is really that clean white that I fell for. And I fell for it because when you use a bath bomb, I feel like it pretty quickly settles down into the base notes. And when you get out and you're drying yourself off and you smell like the bath bomb, that's what you smell like. You smell like what lingers. So I got the oil, and when I first opened it and put it on, it smells really strongly of the top notes. So the oil is really, really heavy on the almond, and it's also really heavy on the coconut. Like it smells more like almond and coconut candy. And then eventually after a while it starts to dry down to more of that clean white, a little bit more unisex, not so sweet, a little bit more herbal, just a little bit more what I love. This, however, sprays out smelling exactly like what the bath bomb smelled like, or what I smelled like when I got out of the bath. So I've been like layering them because I feel like they work together. And this, by the way, they sent me because it was a new release. They just released the perfumes. So they offered to add one into my package when they found out that I had placed an order. And I was like, yeah, put the Troika one in and then I can compare them. And I'm so glad that I did that because I can report back that it is different. The oil is just more concentrated, and so you get more of the burst of like all of the scents together, whereas the spray gives you kind of like that, it's like the way that it smells after it's been on your body. I think they make amazing gifts, their products, because I feel like they have a range in terms of sweetness and just in terms of like how the stuff smells. You can find some really masculine stuff, you can find some really sweet smelling stuff, you can find some much less commercial smelling stuff than almost anything else that you can buy. That's what I love about them. It doesn't smell commercial. And sometimes I feel like even Lush can get a little bit Bath and Body Worksy in terms of how it smells. everything that I've tried from House of Glory has smelled exquisite and unusual and addictive and just really, really better. Just better. I think that the bubbling scrub from House of Glory would make a really good inclusion in a gift. If you know that someone likes lotion, they have this amazing pumpkin butter that would make a good inclusion in a gift. They also have this whipped soap that's in a jar. It's just like special and different from the soaps that people usually use. And I feel like if you know someone even slightly in terms of their preferences for scent, you can find something from House of Glory that will be different from other things that they've used and smelled, but that will suit their taste. So I just feel like it's a really good place, a really good way to like select things that will be special and different. And that makes such a good gift. And it is a small and passionately run brand. It's based in Portland, Oregon, where I used to live, and that makes me feel like connected to them and close to them. And it's just so much more meaningful to them that you buy their stuff than it is even to like buy from Lush, and definitely to buy from a place like Bath and Body Works. When you choose to buy a selection of really special bath bomb and scrub and lotion type things from House of Glory, you're just having a much bigger impact with your small order. Like I feel like my order was like $20 or $30 or something. So that's a nice gift. Like that's a nice gift to order, like maybe a bath bomb and a scrub and I don't know, a lotion. And they tend to even out to like $8. I feel like the lotions and the scrubs are like $8 for a big tub. So you could get like three or four or five, maybe if you include a bath bomb or something. That's an amazing gift. That's like pretty hefty for just $35 or something like that. And then that $35, it's just the impact that it has on a small business is so big. The impact of your decision to purchase from them compared to if you were to go to Bath and Body Works and buy like a candle and a body scrub, et cetera, and spend the same amount of money, it feels more accessible. It's right there at the mall. It's so familiar, but it's just not going to be as special, and the scents aren't going to be as special, and the impact of the purchase is going to be much, much less. It's just going to get swallowed up by huge corporations and continue to fuel them. So I like House of Glory as an alternative to buying those kinds of products at more familiar shops. I had to include Serpent and the Swan in this video. This is the brand that I feel like I've let down the most by putting off this video because they are based in Australia. So if you live in Australia, I actually think it's not too late to order something from Serpent and the Swan. I think that they can ship in like 1 to 2 days, or they can have it arrive at your house in 1 to 2 days. But if you don't live in Australia, it's something like 8 to 10 days. So it's definitely too late to order for specifically Christmas this year. I just feel like their products make amazing gifts, amazing gifts. So, and also I want to show you this little box. This is the little ear climber that Serpent and the Swan sent me, the little snaky, and I love it so much. Because it came in this little box, it felt very gift-like. And I received this as PR. And I did receive some PR from House of Glory also over the past several months. That was part of why I got really into them. I wanted to make sure that I also mentioned that, just full disclosure, but I also have made a purchase from them myself very recently. But again, with this brand, I had the experience of receiving it as a gift, and it just felt so special. And the little ear climber is so beautifully made. It's so unique, and it looks amazing on my ear. I'll put up a picture right now of the way that it looks on my ear, because that'll be much more effective than me like putting it on right now and trying to show you with an awkward close-up. But it is just exquisite in every way, beautifully wrought, beautifully conceived of, and it is a small, independently owned, woman-owned artisan business. Everything is made lovingly by hand, and the prices are reasonable for like a nice gift of a little piece of gold jewelry, something super special and unique like this. They also do birthstone jewelry, so you can get this little snaky but with a birthstone right in its head, and you can get a little snake ring with a birthstone like right on its head with any color of birthstone. That makes a really cute gift too. I feel like that makes them very giftable. So just, I had to mention Serpent and the Swan. I wish I had mentioned them 3 weeks ago in time for people to actually order from them for holiday gifts, but hopefully it's something you can file away for the future, because I just think it's a really good resource, a really good brand to know about. And then lastly, I could not end this video without talking about Erin's Faces, because I have given Erin's Faces products as gifts over this past year, and it strongly has that lovingly handmade feel. It's like everything's been really, really carefully crafted. Everything performs beautifully. Everything that I've tried performs beautifully, but it just has that I don't know, that ineffable quality, that stamp of like not being commercial. Because it's not. I guess it's kind of like an obvious thing to say. That is what draws me to all of these brands, is there's this feeling of care that is like the opposite of the feeling of something being commercial. And I think that that makes a gift better. It's like if you give someone a gift and then they can tell that not just the person giving it to them gave it with care, but the people making it labored over it in a very focused way, that it was individually wrapped. So when I ordered like a bunch of things for my mom for Mother's Day, I knew that when they arrived to her through the mail from Erin's Faces, it would feel like everything had been very thoughtfully and mindfully wrapped for her. It would feel like a gift. Whereas if you order something from Sephora and have it sent to someone in a box, even if you order gift wrapping, it always just kind of feels thrown in there. Like it doesn't feel loving. I also just found Erin's website to be very user-friendly as a gift giver. When I was putting together that gift package for my mom, I was able to sort on the website for like mature skin and dry skin. And it was really easy for me to figure out what would be most useful for my mom. I didn't end up buying her necessarily the same product that I myself use. I think I did put in a sunscreen, but I was buying things that I haven't even tried because I was buying the things from the website that I thought would work the best for her. And it was really easy by reading the descriptions and by like using the drop-down menus to find out what those products would be. And then there were things that I was able to sort of stick in like a chocolate body scrub that just felt luxurious and felt like the kind of thing that my mom ordinarily wouldn't buy herself. And so it made it feel more gifty and special. And I just had such a seamless experience ordering a gift for my mom from Erin's Faces. And my mom loved everything. I think her favorite thing that I ordered for her was the really heavy, like the rich moisturizer. It's like a really, really heavy night cream. She has very, very dry skin, and she says that that has totally transformed her dry skin. So that's really exciting. I even haven't tried it myself, but my mom has put her stamp of approval on it. So I'll link specifically to that product down below. And I don't know, it's another one where I feel like it's a little bit too late for Christmas specifically, but I wanted to report back that it's not just like that I happen to like the lip gloss and the concealer and the lipstick and the sunscreen and the scrub that I've tried. Like, it's not just that. It's that I've also enjoyed the experience of giving a gift through the Erin's Faces website, purchasing it as a consumer, and that just went really well for me this year, so it made sense to pass that information along. And that is it. I feel exhausted now. Maybe because I got the flu shot and now I feel like I have the flu a little bit, but I think I might just because I'm so passionate about small brands. I feel like I really talked myself out. And as you can see, the sun has set. It's almost the shortest day of the year. It's not even 5 o'clock yet over here, you guys. This is what I'm dealing with. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that this was useful, even though the last few brands that I tacked on there at the end are ones that you probably can't order from in time for Christmas. I hope that this was still interesting and useful. It was really fun for me to get the chance to dig deep about some of these brands and why I really love and support them, why I love their products. I feel like many of them are good alternatives to things that we buy by default during the holiday season, like, Bath and Body Works, that kind of thing. House of Glory is like a really good alternative. So now as we get really, really close to Christmas, and then for the gift giving you might do in the future, or the gift giving you might be doing if you don't celebrate Christmas, I just want to encourage you guys, and I'm also trying to remind myself to take that moment and not just do the knee-jerk easiest thing like shopping at the mall, like shopping from like a big box store, but take that moment and be like, could I apply this gift idea that I've just had to a small brand instead of just defaulting to this big brand? Because in a lot of cases you can, and I think in almost every case it actually makes the gift itself a better gift, and also in a lot of cases you end up paying less for it depending on the brand from which you're ordering. I must go. Thank you so much for watching this video. Let me know what you think down below. Let me know if you have any ideas. That's the other thing I want to make sure to mention. Let me know your ideas. Like, if you were putting together a small brand gift guide, what would you include? I really want to know. I really want to read y'all's suggestions. And don't forget to take extra good care of yourself this week so that you can be the most effective version of yourself as you do your work in the world.